Welcome to this 21-minute practice focused on releasing upper body tension. Whether your average day has you mostly behind a computer, repetitively lifting, cradling a young one, or with gaze focused downwards, reading or scrolling, the reality is, for most of us, our posture is very much rounded forward. With an open heart, deep breath, and a little bit of help from our yoga props, the intention of this session is to release tension in the shoulders and upper body. With a bolster, block, and a strap handy, I'll meet you seated on your mat when you are ready. Getting started here with a bit of movement in the center of our mat. We'll take a great big breath. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders up. Exhale, draw them down the back side. 2 more times with a big breath in, squeeze the shoulders, observe how this feels. Exhale, release the shoulders down. And 1 more time, breathing in, really draw the shoulders up intentionally. Press the chest forward, exhale, release them down. Turning the palms to face upwards and dialing the eyes down, we start to connect more deeply to our breath and stillness. Beginning to find a bit more length in the backside as you inhale, feel the crown of your head reaching your spine and back a little taller. And as you breathe out, feel a softness wash over you. Begin to find smooth and intentional rhythms of breath that comes and breath that goes, inviting it in and out through the nose. As we take our last few rounds of breath here, perhaps you start to envision that with your exhales, you can release. You can release thoughts that have been drawing you off of your mat. You can release tension that you have discovered within you. Feel your inhale breaths magically awaken you, and feel your exhale breaths letting go. Now very gently welcoming movement, adjustments, fluttering the eyelids open, we start to take 5 rounds of seated sun salutations. Inhaling to reach the palms up overhead, breathing out, the hands come down in front of heart center. 4 more at your own slowest pace. Inhaling to reach the arms up, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Exhaling, hands come down. 3 more as slowly as you can. Breathing in fully. Exhaling intentionally with softness arriving. From here, we start to draw the soles of our feet together, knees bent and outwards, coming into our butterfly base. For this variation today, I invite you to curve the shoulders ahead. Allow the head to drop heavy, hinging from the hips, feeling a stretch into the inner thighs, the groin, but very deeply, pressing the backbones upwards, much like we would in our cat pose. Feeling a full body stretch here, close down the eyes, and really focus on what it feels like to breathe in, inviting your exhales to fold you a bit further forward. With an inhale breath, softening yourself upwards and out of this pose, lengthening the legs ahead into staff, arms to cactus, palms face forward. Exhale to press the elbows and palms together, tuck the chin. Inhale to shine the heart high, open the arms wide. Again, exhaling, draw the hands and elbows together. Inhale to push the shoulder blades, squeeze them in. Exhaling again to open up in the back, palms come to one another. Inhale to shine the heart high, open the arms. taking one more round as slowly as you can. Beautiful work. From here, adjusting your base if you would like, we're coming into our cow face pose, starting with the right arm lifted, hands making their way towards each other. Now, this may be a great place for you to add on a strap, depending on how near your hands are to one another in this pose. If your fingers are comfortably clasped to one another, allow that to be the shape you take. But notice if the shoulders are really clenched towards the ears. This may be a good indication that a bit more space between the hands would be helpful. You can also come into cow face pose in the base if this is a part of your practice and you are familiar with that posture. No matter how you find yourself in this opportunity to breathe and to stretch, notice what this feels like into your shoulders as you lengthen in the spine and breathe deeply in and out through the nose. Allow the shoulders to melt a little bit more as we take our final breaths here. Checking to see if the top elbow can be a little bit more vertical. Amazing work. Very slowly releasing out, rebounding here through some seated cats and cows. Inhaling to lift the chest, exhaling to round in the back. Moving through a few at your own pace, inhaling as you are open, exhaling as you push the spine into a backwards arch. When you feel complete with your seated cats and cows, we'll begin to think about setting up on the other side with our cow face pose. We will lift the left arm, bend into the elbow, slide the right arm behind. Again, checking in if a strap would feel good, noting that it is very common for one side here to require a different posture than the other. Checking that your shoulders can be relaxed here as hands come towards one another. A long, tall spine with the left elbow pointing upwards and a deepness in your breath. As we take our final rounds of breath here, observing where you can go a little softer, how it might be possible to lengthen a bit taller into the backside, and where you can get more release into the shoulders. When you are ready to do so, transitioning out of this pose, we'll make our way to tabletop using traditional cats and cows to rebound out of this form. Really focusing on the shoulder blades as you inhale and exhale through these movements. Using your deepest inhale breaths to drop your navel into your cow belly pose. And your most intentional exhales to empty out as you very deeply curve the spine upwards. Amazing work. From here we step the hands a little bit more forward. Left one stays on the mat, right arm and gaze to the sky. Allowing your hips to shift to the right, a softness in the midsection. Take one more inhale. And as you next exhale, weaving the right arm all the way underneath you, right shoulder drops down to the ground, resting your right ear on the mat. Right palm faces upwards, and today for this variation we close the left shoulder down, tenting onto the tips of the left fingers, feeling a deep stretch into the right shoulder. With your next inhale breath making your way back up to tabletop, we'll switch sides. Left arm and gaze to the sky, a softness if possible in the shoulders, allowing the hips to shift a little bit to the left. As you next breathe out, weaving the left arm all the way underneath, left shoulder and ear to the earth, right shoulder drawing down as you tent onto the fingertips. Finding that beautiful stretch into your left side, close your eyes and breathe. Using your next inhale to transition back upwards, once again to tabletop position where we isolate our focus on the shoulder blades. As you inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, drop the chest. As you exhale, push them apart, press the back upwards. Again, inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, allow the chest to drop. Exhaling to push up. Move with your own breath here, exploring your ability to isolate this place in the body, opening and closing your shoulder blades as you breathe. Next up, we hold a pretty deep shoulder stretch, lowering our chest into puppy dog pose. With your hips hovering above the knees, allow a deep curve into your spine, arms reaching ahead, with the option to invite a block or a bolster under your chest or chin to soften, or perhaps going to your deepest variation, your chin is resting here for support, feeling an intense but safe stretch into the upper body. As we feel this work in our upper back and shoulders, observe if there is tension elsewhere within you, and what happens if you invite places like your fingers and your jaw, your toes and your legs to relax. Inviting 2 more very slow and intentional breaths in this posture, seeing if your chest can sink a little bit closer to the earth beneath you. We use the following inhale to return to our tabletop before transitioning to a comfortable seated position. You can draw glutes to heels like I am demonstrating, or come to a cross-legged pose if that feels better in your body right now. With a great big inhale, reach the arms up overhead, then draw the left one down beside you to the ground, reach the right arm over towards the left. Feeling a stretch into the right side of the body. Just here for a moment. Stay rooted into the sit bones. Take one more exhale. Then bring an inhale to reach both palms up overhead before switching sides. Right hand down to the ground, left arm reaches over towards the right side. Keeping both sit bones grounded evenly, stretching the left side body. An inhale brings you back to center, where we get the chance to rebound, perhaps like I'm demonstrating here with half camel, lifting and lowering the hips as you switch from side to side, which hand supports you. If some other variation of movement to release into your body feels better, I invite you to take it. Finding each side one more time if you've been here in half camel, or wrapping up the movements you have chosen to do as an alternative. We'll meet once again in a comfortable seated position, stretching into the right arm with a cross-body stretch, reaching the right arm across you towards the left side, and then gently applying some pressure with the left hand. Use an exhale to release both arms and then switch sides. Left arm reaches across the body, right arm applies a bit of pressure, feeling a stretch into the left shoulder. Using a generous exhale to release both arms, we spend a bit of time focusing on the neck, allowing the chin to rock from right to left in semicircles, observing what this feels like in the sides of the neck, the back, and the front as we go from side to side. If that movement felt beneficial, continue to find it, or come to stillness with me here as the right ear draws to the right shoulder, perhaps using your right hand to add a little bit more depth, drawing you closer to the right side. An inhale brings you back to center, switching over towards the left ear to left shoulder. Perhaps your left hand guides you a bit deeper. And with an inhale, come back to center, scan the body, observe if there is something else that you would desire here in your practice, or begin to set up in our final pose here with me. Coming to a heart-opening Shavasana, I encourage you to place something underneath your upper back that opens the heart forward, shoulders a little bit wider than normal, maybe in cactus arms, knees falling into each other, or maybe you choose to extend the legs long. Ideally here, our heart is above our hips. We feel open but supported in the upper body, with a generous sense of space within the chest. Allow the eyes to close and stillness to wash over you as your breath becomes the focus and anchor of this time and place. The day she let go of the things that were weighing her down was the day she began to shine the brightest. As we land here in our final moments of stillness and Shavasana, Once again, I invite you to use your exhale breaths to release. Release any residual tension. Release any thoughts you no longer wish to hold on to. Release any emotions you would rather part with. Very gently start to welcome movement to your toes and fingers, allowing yourself the chance to transition upwards out of this pose, perhaps with eyes still closed. With knees bent, we come to a seat and give ourselves a hug, wrapping the arms around the shins, squeezing yourself into a tiny ball, stretching into your backside. When you are ready, transitioning yourself to a comfortable seated position with palms in front of heart center, taking a moment to connect with the softness in your shoulders and the length in your spine. Folding forward with gratitude for this practice. Namaste.